Hey guys, how you doing? I want to jump straight into this. I don't want to waste your time. Today I want to show you how to fix one of the most common problems in deadlifts that I see many people struggling with, and that's the bum rising too early. I want to show you why it happens, how to fix it, so ultimately you can deadlift more, deadlift safer, and ultimately feel more confident with your deadlifts. So what it might look like is this. You come to your deadlift, you get set up on the bar, and as you go to lift, bum comes up early, and then you're out of position. Some people will call it a stripper deadlift because the bum rises too early. So what happens with a deadlift? It's a closed kinetic chain, which means our feet are in contact with the floor and one joint can affect the joint on top of it and it can go up the body. A bit's like a boxer. When a boxer throws a punch, his power comes through his feet on the floor, goes up his leg, through his glutes, all the way through his body and transfers through his fist. If you have any weak points or positional errors, you get an energy leak, which means you lose some of that potential power and force that you've created. And this happens very much when the bum rises too early with a deadlift. And it ends up loading our back more, making our deadlifts often have a bit of a cat back, a bit of a rounded back, and not being as safe. So this is how you fix it. It's more commonly down to positional error, in my opinion, than it is to weak muscles. And this is what people tend to do. They sit up for the bar, and they come for their deadlifts and they've got too much weight in the front of their feet, on the balls of the foot. When you deadlift, your feet want to have even pressure through them. So that's your balance point. That is the center of the earth to you, and that bar wants to stay nice and close to your center position to make the deadlift easy. So don't allow yourself to rock onto your toes. Of course, from the start, as soon as you pick up the bar, which for the most part on deadlifts is heavier than you, as soon as you start to lift it, it sends you forwards and the bum rises. And that's simply because you're out of position to start with. So what we need to do is we need to create tension with this bar before we start so we can really use all the power that we have. How do we do that? We set ourselves up for our deadlift, this position here. We lengthen our hamstrings so we feel them stretch. Then we bring ourselves down into our deadlifts. Now this is a position that I probably wouldn't normally be in. I'm using the bar to pull myself down in there. And as a result, my legs, I can feel them working. I can feel them switched on. I wouldn't want to spend forever in that position because it would almost feel like holding an isometric squat towards the end of it. But what I've done is I've lengthened out the hamstrings and I've got a lot of kind of potential energy saved in them like an elastic band. Now, we have that energy, we need to make sure that we transfer it up the body. And what I see people doing as well, another reason we get that bum rising early, is they sit up lovely, they pack their shoulder blades back, they get their chest lifted. We always want our chest lifted. Think someone's grabbing you by the scruff of the neck and ripping you up. We want to be up and nice and high like this. And what they do is they sit up lovely, and they bend their arms and they bounce their deadlift. You create all that tension, and then as soon as you bent your arms and dip down and you pull on the bar's heavy. It pulls your shoulder blades around your ribcage and takes you out of position again. So get yourself a locked in position. So remember what we do. Hands outside the hips, lengthen out the hamstrings, find your start position, lock yourself in there, then push the world away, keeping everything lovely and tight. So with the deadlift, the big common, I said I wanted to keep this short, the big problem I see is positional awareness and knowing where you want to be. Get yourself locked in, pulled into that bottom position before you lift. Use the legs, lift the chest and push the world away. Look at the big boys. Look at like Hathor, who's the mountain from Game of Thrones. When you see him deadlift, obscene weights on the bar. He pulls himself down in position. Yes, he's a big guy, but you'll see the bar will bend. More visible than any weight that I'm going to lift. We take the flex out of the bar. You can see that you're pulling yourself down into that position so you're like a loaded gun ready to go, or a loaded spring. So I hope that helps, guys. It's a simple fix for the stripper deadlift or the bum rising too early. If you have any questions about what I've gone through, or you want me to cover any new exercises or anything else, please leave them down below. Give this video a thumbs up if it helps and subscribe if you haven't. See you guys.